Welcome to Enrichment Today podcast, hosted by Dr. Amy Christine Blansett. This podcast covers topics to build stability and find tranquility in your life. Join us to discuss topics to improve your financial health, change your limiting beliefs, improve your wellness, and so much more, all to increase your self-sufficiency. If you like this podcast, make sure to follow the Enrichment Today podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and follow the Drew Lewis Foundation on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can also check us out on our websites, enrichmenttoday.org and drewlewis.org. Now sit back, relax, and learn to break some crayons with us.
Hi, I'm Holly Melton, and I'm here as a recovering financial advisor to present this episode of Enrichment Today for the Drew Lewis Foundation. And with me today, I am so grateful to have Justyn Pippins. Justyn is a master of business. He is a consultant, an entrepreneur, and he is also he's been a part of MIB as well as SCORE. And for people that don't know what SCORE stands for, I will have Justyn tell you what the letters exactly represent, but it is a part of the SBA administration. And the cool part about the SBA is if you are interested in opening up your own business, you can go to the SBA administration and they will refer you to a SCORE mentor. And they will help you through the process, brainstorm, try to figure out how your business will work, and then help you with an SBA application. I personally went through this many years ago when I opened up a practice with my husband. Many years ago, we opened up a financial advisory practice, and we went through the SBA, got an SBA loan, and it was the best thing that we could have done. So it's very doable. It's not complicated, and it's a great way to go in and really understand the nuts and bolts of your business. And of course, those mentors are there to help you through the process. So I will introduce you to Justyn, and this is Justyn Pippins. He's going to give us a little bit of a background on what he's been doing in Springfield, what he focuses on, and then how he came into SCORE.
Yeah, thank you, Holly. I'm Justyn Pippins. I'm glad to be here with you guys today. Looking forward to this opportunity today just to kind of talk about some things that we're doing together, some things that I have going on personally. So just really quickly, moved to Springfield in 2009, and I'm really liking it. I've been here, 12, 13 years. And so just with Springfield being a smaller community, I've been able to immerse myself in a lot of different organizations, nonprofits, just different things that I can get my hands into. And so just very glad for the opportunity today to be here with you guys and just promote some resources that are out there in the community.
Yeah, he's wonderful, and he is so personable, so willing to help you with business questions, incredibly knowledgeable, well-connected, and that's one of the reasons I'm really thankful to have Justyn with us today. We're also going to talk over a few things where workforce development is concerned. We were kind of chatting before we got started about where are the workers in Springfield, what happened to them. And we both attended the Small Business Development Conference luncheon on, it was last
Thursday?
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, one of those days. Yeah, it was Thursday. Yeah. And it was just incredibly helpful. So there's a lot of things that we can discuss. I want to get started with what is it that you're doing right now, and what was it about helping people with SCORE that really drew you to the program?
Yeah, well, like you were saying, SCORE it doesn't stand for anything, but what it is kind of like you scored. You score.
Love that.
So what we do is kind of like what you said. We, if you need help with something, we'll walk you through that process, whether you're trying to get a loan, a house, start a business, anything like that, we will help you. And if one of us doesn't have the expertise, we'll connect you to someone either in our chapter or someone nationally that can help you with those resources.
I love that. So you're associated with specific banks in the area, I'm sure, and credit unions?
Yeah, we, like you said, we're connected to the SBA, and so we're connected to different banks, women's business development centers, anything in town chambers of commerce, anything we can kind of get our hands into and make a connection with that organization, we're willing to partner with them.
Does every bank have an SBA lender, or just certain?
I think it's just certain ones, but maybe some of them do have one. I know for us, our SCORE chapter, we have a SBA person that works directly with us. They keep us in the loop on all of the changes that happen in the SBA, and we keep them in the loop on everything happening in SCORE, so we can cross promote.
So talk me through if, for example, I did start a small business. I had two of them. The first one I did an SBA loan for with my husband. The second one was just something I decided to do on my own. So if I wanted to expand that and I needed an SBA loan, what kinds of things can I get a loan for? What information do I need to bring to you to kind of be ready to fill out the information? And do you help me with a business plan? Do I come up with that on my own? So,
yeah, well, the process with SCORE is you would go on our website, score.org, you would find our Southwest Missouri chapter, and you would fill out a form where you would basically become one of our clients. And so that form goes to an administrative person, and they would look at your direct need. Okay, you need a loan. So then we would send you to someone who has that loan expertise, and then that person would contact you and then kind of we sit down with you, take you to coffee, kind of see where you are in the process, see where you want to go, if we need to help you with your business plan or whatever. Or maybe you've already went to the bank and talked to them, they told you what you needed to do. We'd help you with that process as well. So we're gonna make sure that you have all your ducks in a row before you go back to the bank to ask for the loan. So like I said, if it's me, if it's someone else, we're gonna connect you to someone who has that expertise.
Okay.
And then that way that person will make sure that you jump through all the right hoops to get that loan. And like I said, it just depends on if you're a small business, if you're just one person, maybe you have 10 employees or 100 employees, we'll walk you through that process to get as much money as you can as possible. And something we do with our chapter here in Southwest Missouri is we would cross promote those resources. So yeah, we're SCORE, but maybe we can connect you to the Multicultural Business Association, or because it's a smaller community, maybe we have connections to realtors or different folks in town that we can, like I said, just connect you to more resources, so that way you have more opportunities to get more funding.
So you would can you do things like help me find office space?
Absolutely. Can
so
help
it's
you
not
find office
just
space
a
as well.
lending relationship. You help with all different facets.
Absolutely. We're in this community together. We see each other at the grocery store. We see each other at coffee shops. This isn't a, hey, can you help me with this and then I don't talk to you or help you anymore. You know, we're gonna continue. This SCORE is for the life of your business. So I have some clients that I haven't heard from in a year or two. As soon as they hit me up, it's right back, you know, like we never broke up, you know. So we're right back in it, helping them where they are, and just trying to, like I said, continue that relationship, grow the relationship, and then just connect you to whatever resources we can help you with. So it's some people do just want one thing and then they're done with us. Other folks, you know, like I said, we have lifelong relationships with them, and we help them with a number of things. Kind of like, to your point, we can help you find office space. We can help you do networking. You know, we can help you business plans. Like I said, we'll go with you and we'll walk around and find different office spaces, talk to the owners and see what we can do. It's just a matter of what your need is at the moment. And with COVID and everything, a lot of folks have been looking for loans and grants. A lot of folks have been starting new businesses because they're just looking for a career change, or they want to do something different. COVID exposed that. So a lot of people are trying to start businesses because there's just a lot of money flowing through the economy right now, whether it's, like I said, grants, loans, things that you just don't have to pay back. So it makes sense to take that money and just try to start something.
Yeah, if you've had a dream and an idea. And I want to come back to that workforce development part of the conversation. But so if I'm not sure if I should be an LLC or a sole proprietor, will you help explain
Absolutely.
that part? And do you connect to CPAs or?
Yes, we do. Like I said, it's if you come to us and you tell us what you need, we're not gonna tell you you need to do this over here. We're gonna help you with exactly what you need. And so if you need to get connected to, you know, someone who has that expertise, that's what we're going to do is plug you with that person. And then you're my client and I'm connecting you to that person. So I'm going to follow up with you and say, hey, did he help you? Oh, no, he didn't really help me very well. Okay, well, I'm going to connect you to someone else.
Okay.
You know, so it's, like I said, it's not a, here you go, you're done, and we're done with you. We want to really try to be intentional about helping your business.
I love that. You're not left out there to kind of sink or swim. And also, the other thing I was wondering is, have you seen very many of your clients go through the business cycle, even to the point of maybe their business is coming to an end? And, you know, do you ever have to help people face things like bankruptcy and ending their businesses?
Yeah, we have to have tough conversations with business owners. So, you know, a lot of times it's, you know, hey, you may just have to get a job to support your business.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you don't get any funds, so we have to have tough conversations with them to say, you know, regardless of your situation, we're going to help you, but we're going to have a tough conversation with you. So maybe you're having issues with your family that's keeping your business from going where it needs to go. We're going to say, hey, you need to handle your family stuff before the business stuff. So, and a lot of times folks don't want to hear that. And so, but it's important that if you want to focus on your business, we've got to get some of that clutter out of the way.
Yeah, kind of give that tough love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. I had no idea, because when I did it, it was strictly a financial relationship that we were trying to establish. So,
well, we're trying to change the culture at SCORE. A lot of folks think of SCORE mentors as old white men, old retired white men. Most of our chapter in Southwest Missouri here, we're all under 40 and we work full time, and it's mostly women. So we're changing the face of what a SCORE mentor looks like. And so, like I said, we're just trying a lot harder to be intentional about helping business owners. And like I said, maybe they just come to us for one thing, but the way our chapter is set up, we're going to connect you to Drew Lewis's resources. We're going to connect you to minorities in business resources, whoever's resources we can connect you to. We want to get those resources in your hand.
So I had a question that has completely escaped my mind, but I'll come back to it.
I think your last question, I think you were asking me something kind of around.
That's okay.
I'm not
we'll come back to it.
Yeah, let's come back to it.
So I do want to, we were talking before about what it's going to take to change the face of business in Springfield, because we're really blessed to have a lot of manufacturing, which is awesome, a lot of the medical, which is awesome, but we want to grow Springfield, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. You saw what the art museum is doing, and the university is always expanding, and there's so much that is changing about Springfield, and I know that we want to grow, we want to attract. I think one of the problems that I've heard is that we're not a real business friendly community, so we have to change that. And I don't know, you have to have the conversations, right? If you don't have the conversations, and maybe they're awkward and weird, but you got to have them in order to, and you have to get involved in the community. You can't sit back and say, man, I wish something would change, because you, like to say, was it Gandhi? If, you know, be the change you want to see. So workforce development, this luncheon that we went to the other day had a really good conversation on hidden workers, and where are the workers, and what are you finding with employees, jobs, wages? What kinds of stories are you hearing?
Like I said, when the pandemic first started, I left Big Mama's and went and did HR at Everything Kitchens.
Okay.
You know, huge online business, kitchen appliances. So of course, their business shot through the roof during the pandemic because everyone's at home cooking.
That's true.
So they went from, about $40,000 a day in business to over $200,000 a day in business, hiring employees left and right. So they brought me in. One thing I saw right away was that a lot of folks are moving to Springfield from Northwest Arkansas, Kansas City, St. Louis, Wichita, Kansas. They're moving here. They're moving here, and they're looking for jobs. I think what you're getting at is Springfield has somewhat of a reputation, and you know, that is kind of, I think, where the issues are, is what people assume or perceive Springfield to be, not business friendly or things like that. But what I see is there are a lot of jobs in this town.
Great.
So if you move here, you're always going to have a job. It may not be the job that you want, but you're always going to have a job in this town. So that's a bonus. That's a plus. That's a good thing. I think another thing employees need is mentorship when they get these jobs. Yeah. They need people to say, hey, here's where you go to do this, or here's where you go to do that. Oh, I'm having an issue with a coworker. You know what? Give that issue to me. You go back to work and we'll talk about it another day. So that mentorship piece is really important. But those workers are out there, they're probably struggling with that reputation that we just talked about. Springfield has somewhat of a reputation, but they're out there. There are a lot of jobs in this community. There are a lot of great employers in this community. So how do we entice them to get out of their shell?
Yeah.
There's a company called Next Level Solutions out near the mall. And they literally have a party every week for their employees. They're always giving them t-shirts and just all kind of swag, next level swag. So it's like I said, it's your attitude and how aggressive you are with your employees. If you're doing a lot of things for them, they're gonna stay.
Yeah, building that corporate culture. We were talking about there's a couple companies in town that are really well known for corporate culture. SRC is one of them, and all of their subsidiaries.
They're great.
They created that company under the idea that everybody needs to know what's going on. Open book management, right? As well as just being open with their employees and what can we do to make life better for you. And I know for me at the Drew Lewis Foundation, even though you work for a nonprofit, it still has to run like a business. And our CEO and founder has been incredible. And I'm not just saying this because it's Amy Blancett's podcast, but the truth is she is a very, very wonderful boss, and make sure that people have conversations, that she meets with us on a regular basis, that we can go to her if we have a problem. So I've really enjoyed the culture since being here full-time as of last November. And I think that's a big part of it is some businesses just process people, right? And you can't, I don't care how big you are, you cannot process people. It's not a soul processing business. It is something that you have to build together. And the more you build it together, the more people are going to want to stay there.
You're absolutely right. She mentors you guys. She doesn't just hire you and send you, here you go do the job. And you guys have that culture in here where people want to come and work here. You guys want to go tell your friends to come and work here. That's the kind of culture that people want to work in, is a place where you're excited to go tell people to come and work at this place. And so some people have that, some people don't. But like I said, to that point, there's so many jobs in this town. It's crazy.
Thank you for listening to Enrichment Today, brought to you by the Drew Lewis Foundation. At the Drew Lewis Foundation, we educate, empower, and support underserved families through personalized programs and coaching to increase the quality of life and build resilient communities. If you like Enrichment Today, make sure to follow Enrichment Today and Drew Lewis Foundation on social media. And now, back to the show.
So we have a good problem. It's just uncovering those workers that, like I said, they're here. They're either working right now. Maybe they're working 2 or 3 jobs right now. Maybe they have a child and there's child care. So they're out there. Maybe they're on unemployment right now. They're out there. It's just, what are you going to do in your company to make it attractive enough for them to want to come to work there? Because word travels fast in this town. If you have a good reputation, it travels fast. If you have a bad reputation, it travels fast. So what are you going to do to break down those barriers and those reputations that you have around your company?
Yeah, there was a company, and I won't name names, but we try to find jobs for our members, right, through the Drew Lewis Foundation, and up-level what's going on in their lives. And there was an organization, I saw that they were advertising, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, and I'm like, that would make a huge difference in my family member, their life. So I reached out to people that I knew that worked there, and they were like, do not send them this way. It is not a good place to work. And so you're like, well, dang, they're advertising, they need people, and it's a horrible catch-22, right? But then you've got people. Two things I learned the other day was some of the filters that are used with the application process. The filters need to be changed. For example, they were saying some of the filters for work gaps. If you have a work gap of 6 months or less, the computer won't kick out your application. If you have a work gap for 6 months and 1 day, it will kick you out and take you out of the possible candidates, right? So why is that work gap there? Is there a sick child? Has there been, COVID-related long haul effects that have taken that person a while to get back into the workforce? For me, my husband passed away, and I needed time to get my kids situated. And fortunately, we had some financial resources, so I didn't have to go right back to work right away. But it was more than 6 months, so I had a gap in there. It's just there's so much more to it, and we need more human eyes on the applications than artificial.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we run into is we're so robotic in how we look for candidates. And like you said, if we just brought it back to that human aspect of, let me look at this resume myself.
Yeah.
Let me call this person myself, get them in front of me and see what I think, rather than letting all these other people or computers do it for me. We just need to get back to that human aspect. And people need jobs, and there are a lot of jobs out there. They're out there. We just have systems that kind of keep us from finding them.
Yeah, keep us
kicking them
stuck.
out 6 months in a day.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Something you said reminded me too. Now it's been a little while, but when my husband and I had our business, we needed an assistant, and we got all these applications and resumes. And I remember looking at this one resume and just like, man, this person sounds great, but they have 6 months here and 1 year here, and it just looked like they job hopped. And instead of saying everything looks great except these timelines don't make sense, instead of calling her and saying, what's up, we just pitched it.
Yep.
So after a few interviews with other people that didn't work, we were like, go to the trash can, pull that resume out, called her in. It turns out she went through a terrible divorce. It was a situation where it was a very inharmonious home, so she couldn't work for time periods, but she had worked really hard after a divorce to reestablish herself and needed a good job. And she was with us for like almost the whole time we were open, which was 7 years.
If you wouldn't have called her, you would have
Right.
never got that information.
If we'd let a computer just make the decision. So yeah, we have to bring more of the human element back and ask more questions.
Yeah, like one thing I saw at Everything Kitchens was we didn't have a bus stop near where we were, so we couldn't, I wanted to bring in folks from Drew Lewis and organizations that try to help folks get on their feet, but because we didn't have a bus stop there, that was a barrier to me hiring them.
That's a good point. We don't have, I've been talking to different organizations about north of Chestnut Expressway. We're on North Broadway, and it's a little bit of a food desert. There's no gas stations around. There's no banks here, so we don't have an ATM. And so what can we do to change some of these communities where people don't have with gas at almost $4 a gallon? You got to find the community and the workers that need to be able to walk or ride a bike to work, or take public transportation. So yeah, things are.
Well, that's another thing too, is eliminating some of those barriers would help companies find some of those workers.
Yeah, that's a great point. People that could, I know in some cities they have buses that go around and pick up employees.
The funny thing when I was at Everything Kitchens was they are located right next to Red Monkey Foods and Ashley's Furniture. Convoy of Hope was building a new warehouse right near them. Heart of America Beverage is there, and then the Amazon warehouse is right down the street. So you talk about fierce competition for workers, perks, bonuses, everything you can think of. Like we were doing it. When I was the HR manager, we went from 35 employees to 150. Why?
Wow.
Just
Which,
looking.
Like what time frame? Like
It
less
was
than a
it
year?
was literally from, I want to say, the summer 2020. We had to have all those employees in place by Black Friday.
Oh wow.
Black Friday.
So
So
just late November.
yeah. So and like I said, just looking in unconventional places, just not looking in the same places that I would always look for employees. Yes, I would bring some of my friends and referrals and things like that, but just being creative, with how I'm looking for employees. Using some of my business networks and business contacts, looking in those areas, just not looking in the same places for employees.
Did you find success with websites like Indeed and Career Builder? I'm trying to think of all the different ones. LinkedIn, even.
Absolutely. And the good thing about Indeed is, you get to see if folks are taking the assessments and things like that. So it worked out really good. I think the main thing that helped me during that time was word caught fire that I was there and that we were hiring. So that's what I mean is when you have someone in place and it's going around town, hey, go to Everything Kitchens, they're hiring and they've got a guy that will mentor you and yada, you know what I'm saying? So after a while, people just start beating the door down trying to see if we were hiring. But it took a little while. You have to build that up. You have to get people in the door and they have to like your leadership style.
Oh yeah. I think there's always, I'm a yoga teacher, so I always go back to this idea, but I do think there's an energy that you pick up on when you walk into a business.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
When you walk into the door of a business, you can probably tell within the first 5 to 10 minutes, just looking at body language and looking around, if you like the place, if you're going to stay there, So employees and candidates, they see that stuff. They may not say it to your face there at that moment, but when they walk in the door, they're trying to get that vibe, that energy, like you said. And so they can tell right then and there if they're going to like it or not. Now, of course, you need to meet some people to fill it out, but just kind of looking around at, like I said, is the energy bad in the room? Because that's the front door.
Yeah.
When you walk, that's the front door to your company.
How are you greeted?
Yep.
And do people smile? Even if you don't get into conversation with them, are they smiling? What's the word on the street? How do other people feel about that organization? And that's like when I first started consulting at Drew Lewis and meeting with members as a financial consultant. Man, I loved it. Absolutely.
Yeah, when you walk in the door here, you know it's a good place to be. You can
There's
tell
not people
everybody cares.
It's right there greeting you because we don't have a receptionist or something, but it's the energy in the building. It's a good place.
I agree.
So, I know that I'm trying to watch our time because I want to make sure that we get information on the 2022 E3 Women's Conference.
Yes.
So tell me about that. That's a huge thing.
In 2021, Amy Blansett was our keynote speaker, and Hope spoke at our conference as well. So in 2022, we're doing it again. The event will be September 12th and 13th at the Oasis. And so just 2 days of, a lot of professional development opportunities for women. We'll be bringing some national speakers from across the country. We'll have different tracks for self-care, women in business, entrepreneurship, all kind of things like that. So hopefully we'll get some yoga involved this year. But like I said, it's our big event of the year for SCORE. We get a lot of volunteers out of it. We get a lot of clients out of it. It's just a great way to celebrate all the businesses in the area and the women that own businesses or that are trying to start businesses.
Yeah, when I went in 2019, when it was in person, and this year it will be in person. Last year it was too, just not as heavily attended because of the circumstances. But this year, it should be remarkable. But I remember there were booths set up for women who had small businesses, which was pretty cool. You could have your product out there or your service if you had brochures and information. There were breakout rooms that you could go to and learn about business plans and funding and mental health and physical health. And I mean, 100 topics. I don't remember it was a 1 day or a 2 day when I went.
Probably was 1 day
in 2019. Yeah. But gosh, so much that was helpful. And you have your table that you sit at, and if you're smart, you really network and connect with those people and make sure that you sit and talk with people, right? You need to go to that thing to develop relationships and learn what's going on and have a pulse on the community. And listen to the keynote speakers. They're keynote speakers for a reason, right? Yeah, they've done stuff. Amy was last year's, as Justyn said.
She killed it last year.
Yeah.
She really did.
Yeah, it was a remarkable story. All right, so that is in September, the 12th and 13th, and...
We'll have a happy hour the first day.
Nice. I do remember the food being...
Charcuterie board and all that kind of stuff.
All right,
food
very
and
cool.
Bring your friends. Like I said, a lot of networking opportunities and just opportunities to develop.
Yeah, I love it. Says E3. It stands for Educating and Empowering Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and our big sponsor is New Growth Women's Business Center. They're out of the Osceola area, and they're doing a lot of things in that area to kind of grow women entrepreneurship.
And it's just not for women, right? We need everybody.
It's open to men. We want men to come.
Yeah, we need everybody attending.
We'll have some men speakers as well.
Good. Yeah, because it's diversity and inclusion, man. We got to have everybody on board.
Absolutely.
What is the deadline to register to be a speaker or to be a presenter?
It'll probably be the end of August. Probably be the deadline.
So keep watching. Imagine there's the Facebook page.
Yes.
And then
E3score.org is the website, and then we have an E3 Women's Conference page on Facebook.
Okay, yes. So e3score.org is the website to go to find more information and to figure out how you can present, have a booth, sign up to be a speaker. I remember there's an application that you fill out if you want to be a speaker. It asks what you're about, what can you bring to the table, and I highly recommend doing that. You have a voice and you need to use it. So tell us about your business. What is your story? I think that's what Amy did, was she told her story. And it helps others know that it's possible. You can make your dream happen and come true. So it's a great, it was just a great vibe. I enjoyed it a great deal. Justyn Pippins, everybody. I'm really grateful to have you
Thank you
today.
for having me today.
And
I appreciate it.
You said something about Big Mama's. Can we ever find you there?
Yes. You can find me at Big Mama's Monday through Friday.
Yeah. You're not serving. You're doing the behind
everything.
The scenes. Yeah. But still, that is an awesome place to go. So check out Big Mama's. It's on
Commercial Street.
There's some awesome stuff down there.
The young kids call it C Street.
C Street. I'm sorry. I'm not that cool.
Not that cool yet.
Not that cool, man. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm really happy that we had this conversation, and I think we got some good stuff out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'm
some
sure,
workforce development.
Right. Don't be afraid to apply for those jobs. Absolutely. Word of mouth, and knock on the doors. Call the HR reps. Be persistent, because AI can be a problem, right? The filters that are put on these application selections. So make your presence known. Call, and go to the place. Check out the vibe. See if it's the right place for you. So, and I bet after the conference we'll have Justyn back to talk a little bit more about what happened and what it was like and all the changes that are happening. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a fabulous day. Thank you for joining us on Enrichment Today. I'm Holly Melton for the Drew Lewis Foundation, and Justyn Pippins signing off.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Enrichment Today podcast. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit our websites enrichmenttoday.org and drewlewis.org. Until next time, remember to break some crayons.